Now that the Penguin miniseries is over and audiences are craving the next spin-off in the Batman universe, I think I figured out who the next villain will be. They said it would be impossible, but I cannot believe that it is.
Kite Man. Hell yeah!
Hi, I'm your host Rob, and on this episode of Atomic Vision, I'm going to predict which the Batman villain will be getting their own spin-off on HBO. But first, we have to set some ground rules. Unlike James Gunn's new DCU that's just around the corner, Matt Reeves' The Batman universe doesn't work like a traditional comic book movie universe. There are no superpowers, no superheroes, and absolutely no fantastical elements.
Polka dot man. What does he do? Throw polka dots at people? He does. He throws polka dots at people.
Everything about the Batman universe is grounded, and the villains all have realistic backstories inspired by the comics, but are not fully accurate. So that means no Mr. Freeze or Killer Croc. Sadly, that means that a lot of Batman's crazier villains will be ignored in this universe. On top of that, Matt Reeves refers to his universe as the Batman's Epic Crime Saga, which means any and all villains have to relate to committing a type of crime or be an organized crime like the Mafia. So that also means that no gigantic world-ending stakes here.
Enough! Stop trying to lower the stakes!
So the bigger and crazier the Batman villain is, like Poison Ivy, the less likely it'll happen. And before I start off my list, there was an update that unfortunately eliminates two Batman villains that most of us were convinced were going to get their own show, but they will not. And it is Joker and Catwoman. Despite being set up in both the Batman movie and the Penguin TV show, James Gunn and Matt Reeves have confirmed that Joker and Catwoman will not be getting their own spin-off. While I think this is a big mistake to not give Selina Kyle her own show, especially since she is related to Sofia Falcone.
From this point on, I am a Gigante.
Sofia Gigante. I am glad Joker's being put on ice for now. I think we can all agree we are tired of seeing the Joker everywhere.
What was that? Don't let him in. What? Don't let him in.
And as much as I like Barry Keoghan, I am not excited about this version in the Batman universe anyway. So with all of that being said, my first guess is one that fans have been speculating throughout every episode of The Penguin, and it is the return of Scarecrow.
How many lives will you destroy in pursuit of what you call justice?
Ever since the Batman movie introduced Dropheads, and then the Penguin show introduced Bliss, fans have speculated that this opens the doorway for other types of hallucinogens to be introduced to the universe. And with Fear Toxin being right up there next to Laughing Gas, it just makes sense to bring Scarecrow to the Batman's universe. He is one of the most iconic villains in Batman's Rogues Gallery, but this right here leads us to why he's probably not getting his own show. And it's because we've already done a grounded Scarecrow storyline. Batman Begins came out in 2005, and Christopher Nolan already created the best version of a grounded Scarecrow storyline, where the Fear Toxin is used more like a bioweapon than a street drug.
Would you like to see my mask?
A few minutes later.
Which is your day now? Well, he's not faking. Not that one.
While Matt Reeves does have the opportunity to dial even harder on the horrific themes of drug abuse, I just don't see Matt retreading on characters already explored in other grounded Batman movies. It's why we're not going to see Bane in this universe.
I'm gonna blow up Gotham Stadium.
But since this is the Batman Epic Crime Saga, it only makes sense that the next spin-off show focuses on a villain who's barely had any chance to shine in live action. And maybe it's Black Mask.
Do me a favor and die already. I got a business to run.
Roman Sionis is a sadistic crime lord who finds pleasure in torturing his victims, even when he's already bested them. And outside of Birds of Prey, which bombed in 2020, Black Mask hasn't really had any representation in DC's live-action shows or movies. The character works perfectly within the Batman universe, and it builds upon the crime saga angle that Matt Reeves is honing in on, but this unfortunately resurfaces a different type of problem that might prevent this character from getting his own show. The issue is that if you make another TV show about a crime lord rising through the ranks of Gotham's seedy underbelly, then it's just the Penguin show all over again. Just because Matt Reeves wants his universe to be centered around crime doesn't mean that every show needs to be about organized crime. This is the Batman universe, not The Sopranos.
How about that prick's face when he saw the gat?
Whoa, take it easy.
Don't away with the vipers.
While I'd love to see Roman Sionis done accurately in live action, it just seems like a bad time to do it now, so closely to the Penguin. But if Matt Reeves wanted to take his Batman universe in a different direction, but still fit it within his crime saga, then my next pick would be for a villain teased in The Batman, but has never made a live action appearance in any DC film to date, and it is Hush.
Hush, Batman. Hush.
Hush is a serial killer whose gimmick is that he steals pieces of people's faces and surgically Frankensteins himself a new identity to impersonate his victims. In nearly all variants of Hush, he typically impersonates Bruce Wayne, whether it be for revenge or extortion. But the secret identity behind Hush changes depending on the twist. In some versions, he's a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. Other times, he is the Riddler. But for this universe, it would make sense if his identity is even a mystery for the audience. But this now opens a can of worms. The problem with giving Hush his own spin-off is that he is someone I can definitely see being the main villain in his own Batman movie one day. But it would have to be set in the DCU, not the Batman universe. For one, it would be insanely difficult making a mystery show where the protagonist is the mystery itself. But on top of that, we already did a Batman film where the villain covers up his face, wants revenge on Bruce Wayne, and even leaves clues along the way. It just hits way too close to home, and even if Hush makes his own Bruce Wayne face, good luck signing Robert Pattinson up for a TV show. But my next guest takes the Batman's epic crime saga into a more whimsical direction that I can totally see Matt Reeves approving, and it is the wacky and creepy introduction to Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter.
All we need now is a finishing touch. A special new hat. Just for you.
Jervis Tetch is a scientist who creates brainwashing/hypnotic technology to control the minds of his victims, typically in the pursuit of twisted love. If the Mad Hatter were to join the Batman universe, it would not only separate itself from the Mafia angle unlike Black Mask, the eerie similarities of Hush compared to the Riddler, and it is a character that has never been seen in a Batman movie, unlike Scarecrow. The Mad Hatter's story can be a tale about obsession, romance, and ultimately betrayal. Not to mention the Penguin just introduced technology that can be used to control the minds of the Mad Hatter's victims. The biggest obstacle working against the Mad Hatter getting his own show is that he might be too much of an obscure character. Mad Hatter has never been the main villain in any sort of show or video game in the Batman universe. He has always resorted to being a supporting character. Maybe Gunn, Reeves, and DC Studios might feel there's not enough substance or desire to give Jervis Tetch the spotlight. But my last pick for a Batman HBO spinoff is a character that Matt Reeves himself has said he wants to reimagine, and it is none other than Clayface.
You weren't even supposed to be in here, Carlo. Why sign up with Joker?
Easy. The role of a lifetime!
Now I know that I said before that the Batman universe is not fantastical with zero superpowers, so how would a Clayface TV spinoff even work? Well, Clayface's original origin story never had him turning into a big CGI monster. In fact, Matt Reeves has already done his version of Clayface in animated form just this year in Batman Caped Crusader. Basil Karlo is a thespian on stage and screen, and after a fruitful career acting in several horror films, Basil hopes to break free of his typecast and become a leading man. After failing several auditions due to his unconventional looks, Basil resorts to the extreme and experiments on his face to make himself more handsome. The result is that his face permanently melts, disfiguring him forever. He then takes his revenge on the world and becomes a full-blown serial killer, even going after his co-stars. If Matt Reeves were to give Clayface his own show, it would separate itself nicely from the Mafia angle that they had just done with the Penguin, and it's a meta film and television narrative, which makes it unique compared to Scarecrow, Hush, or Riddler. Plus, it allows the show to go with a more horrific tone rather than just being another detective or mafia crime show. It would likely resemble the horror subgenre called giallo, which is usually about a secret killer on the loose. And to top it all off, Mike Flanagan, the horror mastermind behind The Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, and The Fall of the House of Usher, has repeatedly said that he wants to make a Clayface horror project, and this just might be perfect timing. He even met with Warner about it, and the plans for this project are still in the air, even now. But I want to know, what do you think? Which Batman villain do you think deserves to have their own TV show? And which villain's origin story makes sense for the Batman universe that's real, grounded, and different from Penguin and Riddler? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Atomic Vision, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.
All I know is you never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
Who's the mustache with the broken nose?